big fireball. More fire. More fire.
What's happening, guys? Here we are. This is the United Forever podcast, and this is a David R. special. I'm Sam, and I'm with my cousin
Adam. How are you?
Adam Shaggum. Good, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, mate. Not bad. Not bad.
Excellent. So we were just having a bit of off-air banter there, laughing about Grandad, who's just taken 18 months to realise that you're self-employed.
Better late than never.
Yeah, I know. Fuck me. Oh, dear. The hedgehog caught up with the hair. The pube. Oh, dear.
Oh,
so, if any random people have been listening to our other episodes, so we've done a lot of shout-outs to our old legendary friend David R., who is a true Rowhedgian legend.
Yeah.
So we've got some things to talk about, but can you remember what was your very, very first memory of him? Albino.
I think the very first memory that I can remember was the mobile library incident, if I'm honest.
Okay, well, before we get there, mate, I'm just going to say hold the phone a second, right? So, obviously, you went to school with him and everything, primary school.
Yes.
And I was like a holiday warrior. Every time it was holiday time, I'd always be down in the hedge. So, sometimes your school holidays and my school holidays would overlap a little bit.
Yes.
So, I remember being down your end. Well, not down 69. No, sorry, being down the hedge, and so I think I went to school with you in the morning.
Yeah,
and Dave was there, and he had this random it was this pyramid puzzle. He had one for you and one for me, and I'm sure he got them from a Golden Grahams pack.
Right.
So that was my earliest memory. So I thought, okay, this is quite peculiar. This must be an interesting start to many other strange encounters to come.
It didn't disappoint, did it?
Oh no, fuck me. So, in the following future events, there was the famous mobile library. So, just before we talk about what happened, tell us about what a mobile library was in Rowhedge.
It still is, I must add. It still happens.
Oh, fuck me.
It's not as regular, but it's still... it's still part of the ingrained in the history of the village. Basically,
nice.
It's like this big lorry that, well, it's the name to the title. It's a mobile library.
A library with wheels.
Yeah, pretty much. A pedo wagon. No, not really. So basically, in the rural areas, it goes so people can take out fact or fiction books, whatever, and then return them a week or two later.
Okay,
that's the long and short of it.
So years ago, I think we were running around the village looking for the mobile library because we probably missed it. And then we ended up going, I think it must have been on Cone Rise.
Yes.
And then we went on the library. We were obviously with Dave, with David R. And so afterwards, return the book. Let us know what happened, mate. Refresh my memory.
Inhaler moment.
You know, that's a good idea. Once again, I'm by the medicine cabinet.
Yeah, so basically, from what I can remember, it went He went out first, followed by you and me, I believe.
Yeah.
And we were walking along, and the next thing I know, he turns round and then turns white and basically proceeds to throw up into the bush. Can you
Oh,
explain
mate.
as to why he threw up? Because you tell the story so well.
Yeah, so basically, he was like, look at my foot. What the fuck's that? Snail trail. And he'd only went and gone and stood on a fucking slug. And it went pop. Full on gaggage. He had to bring up his breakfast.
Yeah.
That'll be the Golden Grahams.
Yeah, so basically, obviously, which is, considering how weak his stomach was, and obviously we're not going to say what he does now for a job, but it's very surprising as to what he does now. Considering,
Fucking hell. Wikipedia.
yeah. So basically, yeah, that's interesting turn of events.
And I think from that day onwards, I just, every time you're around him, you're like, just keep a safe distance, because like nowadays everyone's like maintain a 1.5 or 2 meter distance because the old Rona boner. But one of my other earliest memories was, I don't know how you sprinted so fast, mate. It was just incredible because we were pissing about around the woods, and the old sand pit, which isn't there anymore, is it?
No. Well, it is, but it's not.
Oh, mate.
On Viagra.
Oh, Nobby's nuts coming out my mouth.
Yeah, so it sort of is a sandpit, but not what it used to be.
That's the one. Yeah, so basically, we were getting chased by Dave, who was probably trying to squeeze our balls or something. And so he like, on Mario N64 when you did the double jump, Mario would do this ridiculously amazing like spin in the air, and then he'd do like a Klingsman dive. Well, Dave did that. Mouth wide open, fucking inhaled fucking £10 worth of fucking sand. Immediately got up. He's like, Terminator eyes. I'm not going to lose primary target. And then we were starting to continue sprinting down the dock road, and all of a sudden, I just saw projectile. This was like slow motion projectile, lava puke firing out, and it just missed the back of your heel. And mate, I've never seen you sprint and jump so far in your life. Fucking hell, mate. Oh dear.
Yeah,
that was just amazing.
Yeah.
Oh dear, dear.
Yeah, and you can't beat a bit of sand. Oh dear.
No.
I think.
I mean,
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Obviously, following on from that, comes the infamous game of Kirby. Now,
mate.
Yeah. Now, I don't know.
Just tell the listeners what Kirby is, because nowadays kids are either quarantined indoors or they're just playing Fortnite or playing with themselves. So what was what was Kirby back in the day?
Basically, it would consist of a small street, a football, two people, and you would try and hit the ball on the opposite curb. And
that's the one.
I can't remember exactly. Was it a point system?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
proper amazing game.
Yeah,
it was brilliant.
And out in the road where.
Hold on.
Part
Sorry,
2,
mate.
sponsored by Argos.
Oh, fuck me. So
But,
sorry, we were sat on the curb, yeah?
Yeah, so basically, we were playing a game outside outside Nan and Grandad's, which
That's the
at
one.
the time was a very quiet street, not much going on around there, and it was a good area to play a good game of Kirby. So we had our game with Kirby,
Yeah.
sat down, and then, well,
Here we go.
all I can describe is it sounded like a fighter jet breaking the sound barrier, a sonic boom.
Full on. Fuck me, the whole of Rowhedge vibrated.
Legend that is decided to let a rip and it vibrated the concrete path.
Mate, that's why the curbs are all broken still today.
Aftershock.
Fuck me. And the Colchester Council still can't put it right. Bloody hell.
Exactly. So
But-
basically, it was known as the Thunder Fart, and it will forever be known as the Thunder Fart. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And when we sort of like try to put a finger on the origin of these mighty farts, I think it's all based on his diet, you know. So what
At
was
the time,
one of the most
I don't think his diet is as what's the word?
awful?
I don't think it's as bad as what it was. But yeah,
Yeah.
I put it down to the ninth wonder of the world, a liver and bacon microwave hot pot.
Oh, mate, full on power.
Yeah,
And obviously, you wouldn't throw away the pot afterwards because you could make a random handicraft out of them. Because
yeah,
oh, fucking hell. But not only that, I mean, oh, mate, I've just had this isn't down on the list, but it's just a random flashback.
yeah.
Not only was he, very familiar with bodily functions, but also I'd say the byproducts of other animals' bodily functions. Because if you remember when you'd walk through the woods,
Yeah,
and you'd get to like the cemetery, I think it was,
yeah,
and then you cross that. What would it be? Mersey Road, I think, and you get into a field, right?
Fingering Hoe Road.
That'll be the one. Oh, fucking finger and wankers.
Legendary village, that is. Yeah,
That is the one. So there was this field where cows would literally do the most perfect rounded cow pats.
yes.
And Dave was just so good at doing cow pat frisbee. Don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I do.
Mate, he'd go for that big oak tree. Do you remember that? There was this massive oak tree or something.
Yeah.
Full on target practice. Cow pat, just dry cow pat disintegrating in all directions.
What we used to do, honestly, it's mad.
Oh, I know. But
Crazy.
if you want to sort of have a dig at the Colchester Council for not maintaining the weeds by the old ditch,
Yeah.
what was it a typical thing that we'd do as kids?
We would go to the local hardware store and buy ourselves a broom handle, as you do. And then we go down and kick the shit out of some ferns and weeds.
That would be the one. So if any Rowhedgians want to know specifically where, so we're talking right up at the top of Donnellan Way.
Yes.
So we would literally leave that proper, like, leveled,
Yeah.
nice and tidy. So we'd vent any random frustration that we had when we were kids, which we probably didn't have.
No.
But
Yeah.
it was a laugh.
Exactly.
And then I think one of the reasons why our mate David R was quite bizarre is probably because he was an Arsenal fan. I don't know if he is still today after all of the depressing years of the Wenger downfall.
Yeah,
But
probably. I don't know. I don't know. I know his brother and dad are still Arsenal extremists, shall we say? But
okay,
yeah,
because I remember getting a big chase off him right down the road. Because I said to him, "You do realise that the JVC on your Arsenal top stands for Japanese Video Company," and he went ape, fucking went ape. This is a non-racist thing, by the way. It's
yeah,
just that he thought it was something to do with a local London sponsor.
yeah.
And yet, David does have a strong affiliation with Japanese culture and anything that's come out of there, really, you know,
But
all of
definitely,
the anime stuff and whatnot.
yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah, so
but
it's not.
I
Yeah,
mean, if he'd sort of catch you, you know, by surprise, what was one of the typical things that he'd do from behind? Go on, mate. What was it?
There would be the good old-fashioned low blow. He would come up
Low
behind
blow.
you and proper give you a crack where you didn't want it. Yeah.
Oh, mate, the full-on cock and ball tickle. But so, I mean, another thing he'd do, mate. He had superhuman strength at times because you know we were all obsessed with you know the proper old school WCW and WWF before it changed, and then we're obviously into the old Attitude Era, and whatnot. But Dave, mate, he'd do some really good wrestling moves down on the green.
Yeah.
And another surprise move he'd do, just come up from behind, forearm right between your bloody legs and lift you up. Balls crushed. Fuck me.
The ball crusher.
Fucking hell. Oh,
Brilliant.
so did he ever manage to do a suplex on you back in the day?
No, powerbomb. He powerbombed.
Powerbomb.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Yeah, I didn't know what the bloody hell was going on.
Bloody hell. And then another typical game we'd play with our mates was this card game. So it was called The King and the Bastard, all right?
Right. Do you want to explain to the listener what it was, if you can?
I don't think I can remember, mate, but do you have any recollection of what it was about?
No, not really. I know you were trying not to get one playing card, if I remember, or if you got a card, or you were left with a card, you ended up getting punched or something. Is that how it worked? I can't remember.
Yes, that's the one. So basically, you'd play with a group of mates, probably like good 4 or 5 of us, and the objective was to somehow get rid of your cards the fastest. Whoever got rid of the cards the fastest was the king, and whoever was left with one card at the end was the bastard.
Yes.
And I just have this really, really strong memory of old bloody Nighty being the bastard and Dave just annihilating his balls. Fucking went full on combo.
Brilliant.
Streets of Rage, bloody hell. It was like the kangaroo going all ape shit with his boxing gloves on all night. His
speedball
genitalia. Fucking hell.
Oh,
and then there was another time we were around Matt's. I don't know if you remember.
Right.
A place up near Elmstead, was it?
Yes.
Can you remember that place? What was that village called?
Oh, I don't know. It was just outside. It was just outside of Alsford, wasn't it? I think.
Oh, that'll be the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Dave wasn't there for whatever reason. He was probably puking or whatnot. So we were all playing King and the Bastard, and then our game got interrupted by a random telephone call, and we were like, "Who the fuck could that be?" This was before smartphones.
Yeah, this wasn't a mobile phone call, was it? This was to a landline.
That's the one.
Yep.
So, please tell us what happened.
Right, hang on. Let me just clear my throat for this. Basically, what I don't know if it still does, but if you send a text message from a mobile phone to a landline, and the person picks it up, and an automated voice will speak the message through. So here we are in a relaxed atmosphere, playing card games.
The King and the Bastard. Yeah.
The phone goes off, and Matty picked up the phone and had it to his ear. Then all of a sudden he just burst out like screaming with laughter. I was like, what's this? He then replayed the message on loudspeaker, and the message went thus: "Shake and what was it? Shake and back, bring the freshness back. Shake and back, put the freshness back."
Oh fuck me! Be those liver and hot pots getting to his fucking brain or something.
And considering, for those that are unaware of this advert, that is a very famous advert from the 1980s.
That's the one.
And to be honest, I think it's even before our time. So I'm actually surprised. I don't. This just shows the randomness of the lad. If I'm honest, pure comedy
Mate,
value.
that is. Oh, it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I have visions of that evening of you just like in front of the fireplace, dying, trying to get your inhaler. And then it got to the point where everybody was actually laughing at you because you were like in so much agony.
Fucking hell, mate. I feel like we're crackling.
Yeah. So it was like, it was horrendous, yeah.
Oh, God.
And that brings us
mate,
on to...
Sorry, mate, just to interrupt you there. Have you got something in your mouth, like a Murray mint or something?
I've got a mental
friend.
A mental sweet. I may or may not have deep throated cactus overnight, so I've got a bit of a sore throat.
Oh dear. You've not been deep throating the Rona boner?
Not quite yet. So I apologise if I accidentally slap it against my teeth.
No, that's all right, mate. I just thought you might be like a good old cowboy chewing on a bit of tobacco.
Yeah. No.
So talking about chewing and food, actually not chewing, tell us about that time about the famous Subway, what was it, the meatball sub?
Yeah, the meatball sub. Now, I can't remember exactly why he did what he did.
The white T-shirt?
Was it? Yeah. Was it because he was wearing a white T-shirt and was about to go out into Colchester Town one evening? Was that it?
Probably. Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, regardless if you have a 6-inch or a foot long and you have the meatball sub, those meatballs are relatively meaty, aren't they? You know, quite big.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so how do I put this? Rather than
biting and chewing.
Yeah, biting and chewing and putting a napkin on as a bib, or I don't know why you would do what he did, but he decided that he would literally swallow the Subway meatball whole because he didn't want to get it out his top.
So what was the sauce? The marinara sauce or something?
Yeah, the marinara sauce. Yeah. So why he would... it's a brilliant story because it's just like, mate, why were you deep throating Subway meatballs for?
Mate, that could have been like the origin of his acid reflux.
Yeah, probably. There's like half a dozen meatballs like gestating in your stomach.
Oh fuck me, the acid reflux capacitor.
Yeah, exactly. 88 miles an hour.
So and another mate, and another thing, right, was the old. So obviously we were 25 minutes into the episode, so anyone who's listening would now get an idea that he has quite a tender stomach. So tell us about the time when there was the snow blindness puke.
Yeah, so back in the when we were just started to drive, we'd, like most teenagers, drive around causing a nuisance and stuff like that. And we were in. I don't know if you were with us at the time. I don't think you were.
Yeah.
But basically, we were driving around and it started to snow,
Okay.
and it was late at night. And
Yeah.
if you've ever driven late at night in the snow with your headlights on, you get a reflection back from it feels like you're doing warp speed, yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, having a migraine past, he had to pull over and proceed to throw up everywhere because he had beginning stages of a severe migraine. Because the snow was blinding him while he was driving.
Fucking hell. Oh, blizzard spewing fucking. Oh, mate, that is a brilliant story. And before we continue, now apparently, what was it, when Saw 4 came out or something, or Saw 2? It was like Halloween time in the cinema. It only just started when there was the first torturing, but I think someone had to they had to get a key or something to get some kind of fucked up frame off the head, and the key was in a glass like box or something.
Okay.
And the person got their hands stuck in the box, and then their wrists were just getting sliced to pieces.
Right.
So what happened to Dave at the back of the cinema?
I don't recall this. You're gonna have to enlighten me.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think he actually passed out and puked himself.
Yes, that happened. Yes.
Oh
yes,
dear.
I think that was the beginning stages of it. I think he actually was quite ill, but I think that was.
Oh, so
I think that didn't help matters.
yeah. Oh dear.
Yes.
So then there was the good old piss up down the village. So once a year there's the famous regatta, which is like a village fete. So
yeah.
What's the typical thing that people would actually do in the regatta apart from getting absolutely blindo?
Well, I was going to say basically the long and short of it is you turn up at a pub at 11 a.m. and then you leave at 11 p.m. And basically the rest consists of drinking copious amounts of alcohol. But for the non-alcoholic people,
they wear bells around their ankles. Is that right?
the unclean masses. No, there's basically it's a fete on the river, isn't it? So like you've got boats and racing events and other festivities. The good old Morris dancing, you cannot forget.
That's the one.
Yes.
Oh, fuck me, sorry. Backfire.
Only in a quiet British village would you find Morris dancing as a
It was a good old pastime.
Yeah. But also there are some decent areas where you can buy decent food. For example,
No, I do concur.
the foot-long hot dog with onions and cheese.
Oh, mate, no, they were fucking banging, like
Which
full on brilliant.
brings us on to the next part, which I'm going to allow you to explain.
So it is very, very true, mate. So we just started drinking after breakfast,
Yeah.
and it was going to be a full on binge. And I somehow remember like happening to be by the riverfront, and then we were all getting the munchies, and we'd already had, this was like the second munchies after raiding the co-op,
Yeah.
full of like pies and pasties and stuff.
That's it.
Then, yeah, mate, the footlongs, they were beautiful, like proper hot dog stand and that. And then Dave, again, for some reason, he kind of inhaled the hot dog like the meatball subs.
Deep throat.
Full on deep throat, and he was pretty battered as well. It must have been drinking a lot of vodka or something, or the local cider or ale. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, he was a cider drinker, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, still
That's
is.
the one.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm referring to him in the past tense. He's still alive, I believe.
Yeah. Yes.
So Dave was battered, and he decided to like deep throat his footlong. And then next thing I know, the others, we were still like only about halfway through the footlong hot dog. We were sat on the green by the river. Dave all of a sudden was just like lying in the recovery position, frothing at his mouth and puking out the hot dog. We were like, what the fuck are you doing, Dave? Oh, that was absolute classic. Oh dear. And I don't know if you remember about another time. So this was not at the regatta. It was a different day. It was a proper nice sort of summer's evening.
Yeah.
But being by a river with salt water, you know that Rowhedge is just absolutely jam-packed full of midges and gnats and stuff, right?
Correct.
So we were all pissing about on the green. Sorry. And all of a sudden, do you remember he had his phone in his hand? It was like, fucking hell, someone grabbed this. He's there, like, chundering over into the river. What the fuck, Dave? Where did that come from? And he's like, I just fucking swallowed a flock full of gnats or something.
It was either a gnat or a fly that he inhaled.
Oh, mate, it'll be a good old horsefly or something.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, savage. And then I'll pass the mic over to you, mate. So,
what the Frankie
tell us about the old... Oh, mate, the marshmallows. So tell us what happened.
Well, basically, as the last 30 minutes have gone, he likes to inhale food.
Yes.
Or overeat, and he did just that, as well as consuming not one but two milkshakes. And he felt he's sitting there in the restaurant, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm feeling," thinking to himself, "Yeah, I'm feeling rather uncomfortable here." So, a sensible person would, maybe stand up, walk around, maybe take an acid or something like that.
Peppermint capsule.
No, he decides that he will visit the facilities
The John.
and yacked up in the toilet, flushed the toilet, and rather than just leaving it, realised that the marshmallows were still floating.
Stop.
He then flushes the toilet again, and to no avail, it's still there. So rather than just going, oh well, no one's actually in the loo now, so no one's going to know it's me, he proceeds to roll up his sleeve and he sticks his hand in the U-bend and pushes it out.
Can't breathe. Fucking hell, I'm getting like tears all down my fucking chin right now. Oh dear. Fisting the U-bend. Trying to find the fucking leprechaun on the way down, I suppose.
Oh my god.
Will-o'-the-wisp drew him into the fucking toilet. Oh dear. Chasing the Lucky Charms, mate. So I think the very last sort of anecdote would be when back in the day, I think it was what was that kebab shop down near Military Road? Was it Rose's?
Yes, that's it.
So I think we'd gone there to get some kebabs and stuff, and then we were in Dave's car at the time, and this was like back in the day when, you know, all the boy racers would go out and sort of hang out by the retail parks and stuff at night.
That's it. Yep.
And David managed to get. He did quite a good job, I think, you know, juicing up his motor a bit, and he had like a proper, quite an aggressive sound system in the boot, and then he has some strobe lights as well, with sort of synced in with the like a beat sensor.
Yeah.
And then anyway, we were waiting at these traffic lights, and sometimes the traffic lights take forever around there, don't they? Like the red lights.
That's correct. Yes.
And mate, it was back in the day, listening to good old drum and bass, Adam F, Breakbeat Chaos.
That's it. Yep.
And all of a sudden, this like proper build up, full on drop, and then Dave went full on psycho, being like MC David R, fucking whacking out all the lyrics, strobe lights, car vibrating, bass everywhere. Oh mate, that was just so full on classic, Dave.
Definitely, that was good old times. Yeah.
Oh mate, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
No, so that was like one huge compilation shout out to a true Rowhedge legend,
the legend
David R.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. So if it ends up listening to this episode, obviously it was done with the true intention of bigging him up and not bigging him down.
Yeah,
but yeah,
no, without a doubt, it's you know, everyone needs one of them, you know, in their you know, in their group, and without a doubt,
yeah, totally.
He definitely is, as you say, the legend that is.
Exactly. Yes. So that was the episode. So, mate, I'm fucking wheezing now. I need to not only have Ventolin, but a good old fix of some of Mason Greenwood's, what was it, nitric acid or something? Fucking hell, fill up the balloon and then start laughing, mate. We don't need any laughing gas after that. Only had a bit of liver and bacon hot pot gas. Oh, that set us off.
For the wrong reason.
Oh, no. So, just to give any listeners a little preview, we will hopefully be cracking out another episode this week before the first fixture we've got against Palace next week.
Yeah, we'll hopefully bang one out.
Yeah.
Banging one
Cheers, one out.
Have that as a t-shirt. Banging one out.
Fucking get arrested, mate. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yes. All right. Well, so we'll wrap it up there.
Yes.
So, what is it that you normally say, mate?
Over and out.
Over and out. See you later, chronic masturbators. Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe, please. We're looking for new friends.
Yes, we will need new friends.
And click on the bell if you're a fucking bellend.
Like we've just proved that we are over the last 40 minutes.
Oh, not only that, but over all the episodes we've done so far. Fuck me. All right. This is it. I'm cutting off.
See you later.
My foreskin.